Welcome to this tutorial video on creating a custom Goose Chase game. Here I'm on the sign-in/landing page for goosechase.com/edu. I come up here to my games. It'll take me to the My Games homepage, which has all the games that I've created before, copied, played, waiting to play. You see at the very top of this here, I can have the blue button for a new game. So if you want to create from scratch a new game, meaning you're not going to be going to the game library and copying a game, you can go ahead and click that blue new game button. And we have some options here on the game info. So we can upload an image for our game. Let's say, for example, we want to do this here, and maybe it's a logo that you have, maybe whatever it happens to be, the game name. Let's say we'll just call it Summer of 2021. We have a brief description here, which will help to identify the game. We'll say the game in the classroom, and then a location, which we don't necessarily need or are interested in. If you want to do a game password, you can. If you want to restrict it to a specific set of people, there's a game code, like many web-based tools you've used before. Like you have a code to get into Google Classroom. Each game has its own unique code to be able to get in, but you can have a password as well. We'll go ahead and we're going to save and continue. So we've got our mission list here. So you've got options. We can do an add a mission to the list. Right here, this blue button will create our own separate from scratch mission, which I'll look at in a second. We can use pre-created missions or adding previous missions from other games. So if we're going to skip this one for now, we're going to go to mission banks because this is really popular. Here's the mission bank. So there are many, hundreds, you can see here, pre-made questions that you can add. So for example, here's copper column, make a tower of pennies at least 30 high. You see this icon here. This is the picture icon, which means you take a picture of it. If I want to add it to my mission, I simply click add. Okay, it adds it there. So I can scroll through here. Now, a lot of these are not necessarily content driven. Okay, they're through here. I can search missions. So, let's say, for example, maybe I want to do measure, okay, which isn't there. Love wasn't there. Bird, right? So, so the search isn't incredibly helpful because these aren't necessarily content driven. A lot of them are random, fun, team building things. Just some advice, I would, if you're going to do, we're in a class, we're doing content, I would absolutely mix in these fun ones as well. Don't make it just necessarily about all content. Kids really love these. So anyway, you can go through and you can do that. You can also do my previous missions. So if you've already created games and you've used some, or maybe you've created some custom questions from other ones, you can come in here and you can choose that game, and then you can come in here and you can pull them out of games or questions you've already created. So if for example, maybe you've been doing this a few times, and at the end of the year, you want to do like a final review, you can pull questions from previous missions and add them so you don't have to recreate those questions again. All right, now the actual true custom question, if we come back here to our mission list, you see I've got the copper column. That's the only one I added. I can come in here now and I can edit that copper column one if I want. I can change the point value, do those sorts of things. But if I want to create a true custom question, I come up here and I do add mission to list, and it gives me a blank slate here. I have options for the photo video mission. If I want a photo or a video submitted, and that comes from inside the app. I could also just do text-based answers. Maybe you don't want a photo or video. Maybe you want students writing their specific response. I can switch to that. Or I can have a GPS mission, which is locational. Those are fun, but they're a lot harder to do, especially depending on what your device situation is and whether you're inside or outside or data or Wi-Fi. So just be aware of that when you're doing those. Here's where I title my mission, maybe I don't know, or say blue and you. We're going to call it that. Point value, I want to make it worth 1,000 points. And then here in the mission description is where I would type what the actual mission is. Maybe find someone with blue eyes. You can take your picture, take a selfie with them. Okay. You can attach images or links to your mission. So if you want to go to an outside source, you want to show a picture, give an example, whatever it is. This here in show and feed, this is one of the cool things about Goose Chase is there is a running feed that everyone sees what's going on. So you actually have the option to hide that if you don't want to. I would make it because that's what it's really fun to see whatever else is there. You can also then customize what kind of submissions that you do here. And then when I'm done, I hit my save and it adds it here to my missions. And I can go ahead and I can build them. So if you are doing something that's really content driven, you're probably going to be using this add mission to list button to create custom questions a lot, especially if they're doing maybe something in your school or you're finding things in your classroom. They're doing specific examples or videos of vocabulary things that aren't part of those pre-built mission banks that are there. So that's creating custom questions or adding missions to your Goose Chase.